Hi everybody, so this is another video. I knew that there was something that I wanted to talk about today that happened to me yesterday on Uber. And I find this very concerning because, well, let me start it this way. I had picked up a passenger and I was on the phone with Uber support at the time that he was in my car. And why I was calling Uber was because I had gotten a ride for a teenager that the mother had ordered off of Uber Teens. And the support agent actually showed or had concern because you have to sign up for it to be willing to drive teenagers in your car. Beyond that, they have to be 18 years old without a guardian to ride. And whenever I pulled up, first thing I asked the young lady was, how old are she? She said 13. So her mother was on the phone. And the mother informed me that Uber knew that the girl was 13 years old and that it was okay to ride. And I said, that's for Uber Teens. I said, I'm not signed up for that. But because of Uber's policy, they force drivers to take these rides because if you cancel, then you get a cancellation point and you won't get paid for driving over to pick that passenger up. So therefore they force you to take the ride. Now, after it was all said and done, the passenger and I were talking and he informed me that his father drives for Uber out in California. And that his father complains about the exact same thing. Now I've talked to other passengers and them interacting with other drivers have had the same problem. So it would appear that Uber is forcing drivers to take rides, though that they are not signed up for it for Uber Teen accounts. Though we don't know, they do not tell us that it is an Uber Teen account, and they should, for the safety of the driver. Because today's kids will say anything. And the moment that a driver gets reported on by a teen that wants something for free, now that driver is being kicked off the platform, has to defend himself, could possibly be arrested and accused of inappropriate action. This is a concern. At least once a day or 2 to 3 times a week, I'm getting minors taking them to school because they can't get out of bed to catch the bus. So I call and I report them. But this is especially alarming that Uber is forcing drivers to take, unbeknown to the driver, Uber Teen rides without their knowledge. This needs to be fixed. And even the support agent said that this is a glitch in the system, that you should have never gotten it if you have not signed. It's kind of like the same idea if you have in your preferences that you will not accept rides over 50 miles, but you still get them. Uber does what it wants, like Lyft does, when it suits them. Now, the other thing that happened to me yesterday is I had my little brake button on, and I was heading to an area where I go to typically use the facilities. And Uber kicks me off a brake and sends me a ride out in Belmead. I immediately canceled the ride because I needed to go to the bathroom. Where I was at in Waco, there is no facilities at all. That's one of the problems of North Waco. There is no facilities. Zero. And the 2 gas stations that are on that side of town, I would never even consider putting their gas in my car, let alone stopping to go to the bathroom. So I called and I mentioned that was actually my primary call. But then I brought up about the Uber Teen thing. When drivers hit brake buttons, we are hitting brake. Well, I do it because I don't want to get rides. I'm trying to get out of areas if I have a passenger. But if I legitimately need to go to the bathroom and I've hit my brake button, or I need to get gas before proceeding on, or maybe I want to stop and get a snack, or whatever the case may be, we're hitting that brake button for a specific reason. What gives Uber the right to say, you know what? Us getting this passenger picked up is more than you as a driver. And oftentimes enough, we find this to be true because of how they treat us. On Lyft, I just hit last ride. But on Lyft as well, too, I've hit last ride, and they've still sent me rides. This has happened multiple times, and I've had to decline the ride because I'm not accepting any more rides at that moment and that time. So, this is just another little short video to let drivers be warned that if you are getting minors, you might want to call Uber up and say, hey, why am I getting these passengers? Are they on Uber Teen? And if so, I am not signed up for it, and why am I getting these passengers? Because that's an extra layer of problems that we as drivers don't need. Like I told passenger, why would I want to accept responsibility of someone else's kid? Why? Why would I do that? Because now you are now making me their guardian to ensure that I get them safe. Yeah, it might be no different than an adult, but this is a minor that we're talking about here. And it's becoming a problem because it would appear that Uber knows that these are teenagers and they're still allowing them to get sending rides to drivers that are not accepting Uber Teen or has not signed up for it. You know, I find it ironic, and I've seen it on social media quite a bit. We raise our kids not to get in cars of people that you don't know, stranger danger, but yet we have no problem ordering an Uber ride from them, for them, and putting them in a car with a stranger. So, something to be warned about, and keep an eye out and start calling Uber and make them change their policies. That we will not accept passengers under the age of 18 anymore. But they're trying to force us to take these passengers that are not of legal age and be responsible for them when we are not their parents. And they are violating community guidelines by doing so. And even Uber is violating its own community guidelines if a driver has not accepted being a driver for Uber Teen. Y'all be blessed.